Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. One question. Could you guys imagine? Actually, close your eyes. I want you to just imagine this nightmare. Close your eyes. Just imagine Kamala Harris, the cackling hyena, was president of the United States. Just try to conceptualize the global embarrassment we would be going through. Because that's what Biden gave us, and she would have given us more of the same. But we have Donald Trump in the White House, a real patriarchal figure who is leading the country to greatness. Trump's move in Venezuela is already paying off big time. The Democrats thought the Venezuelans would be on their side. They thought the Hispanics, the Latino community would be on their side. But no, they came out in millions and protested the Democrats and said, we support Trump, we back Trump, holding signs saying Trump is king. No, it was Trump for king, not Trump is king. Only Jesus is king. It was Trump for king, like, make him king of the United States. Yeah. So that backfired on them because the Hispanics did not support the Democrats at all. The Hispanics actually sided with Trump on that. And then they went on to the next thing, which is to say, the operation, the assault on Venezuela, the capture of Maduro was dangerous, and we're not even going to benefit from it. It's going to backfire on Trump. Look, the Venezuelan regime, it's still in charge. The same regime elements are still in power. Maduro was just the front man. Sure, that could have been true, but today, ladies and gentlemen, as I said and revealed on the stream earlier, and more details have come out, President Trump has secured 50 million barrels of high-quality oil. We did all of that for 50 million barrels. You have to understand that it was a dangerous mission. We were risking American lives, and we took a president. And it's not like Venezuela was some pushover. They weren't the nice guy that finishes last. They were ready. They had a great mobilization. They were just all asleep that night. They had air defenses from Russia, which aren't necessarily, on America's level, as advanced as our defense systems, which we supply to Israel, for example. They're not as advanced. But they could have hurt some of our aircraft, especially the F-16s from the older generation. It was the F-35s that were used. That's what gave us a strategic advantage. So it was a dangerous mission, and we could be sitting here talking about, oh man, we just lost soldiers, and this whole thing would look weird. It would look so odd, but no American lives, no assets. We didn't give Venezuela billions of dollars in equipment like Joe Biden did in Afghanistan. So the president said the interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 50 million or 30 million to 50 million barrels of high-quality sanctioned oil to the United States of America. This oil will be sold at its market price, and that money will be controlled by me as President of the United States of America to ensure it's used to benefit the people of Venezuela and the United States. I have asked Energy Secretary Chris Wright to execute this plan, which Chris Wright wrote a statement in a reply to the president that he is on it. He is going to be executing that plan as we speak. Now, you might be asking yourself, how much oil is 50 million barrels? Well, oil is going for about $56 a barrel right now. 50 times 56, 50 million times 56, that's $2.8 billion. We did the math on the last stream. So, yeah, The Guardian wrote it there. $2.8 billion of oil in a move that could cut supply to China. And that's another thing that Trump is extracting out of the Venezuelan interim regime. That word interim is very important because they're not going to be there for long. Trump is just tolerating them right now. But the long-term scenario is they are kicked out and America-aligned opposition leaders like Maria Corina Machado are installed. I mean, she didn't win the election. It was Edmundo Gonzalez because she was banned from running by Maduro. She was removed from the ballot. The same thing Democrats tried to do in 2024 to remove Trump off the ballot is the thing the Venezuelans did in their election. I don't know who copied who. I think the Democrats copied the Venezuelans. You would think the Venezuelans copied the Democrats, but I think in this instance, the communists in Venezuela set an example, and the Democrats followed it. So the Trump administration told the interim president the regime must meet several conditions before being allowed to pump more oil. So right now there is an armada of naval assets still there in the Caribbean. We never pulled out. We're prepared for a second wave. In fact, we were going to do a second wave, which I imagine would have been the arrest of multiple key figures in the regime: Diosdado Ceballos, the Minister of Interior; Vladimir Lopez, the crooked Secretary or Minister of Defense. They have ministers, not secretaries. And also Delcy Rodriguez. But I think they cut a deal. I think as soon as they saw that Maduro was gone, they must have cut a deal immediately. Because all that chest they were speaking with, like Nancy Pelosi's, like sticking out their chest, like thumping it like gorilla, you know? Yeah, come get us, you cowards. And then suddenly they're hiding in bunkers. Yeah, the Minister of Defense made a video saying all Venezuelans need to mobilize and be ready for a second wave, and he was doing it from a bunker. And Trump mentioned something to reporters that they couldn't comprehend because their brains are small. He said, the Delcy Rodriguez, the vice president, now acting president you hear on TV, is not the same person I hear, and I think people don't really understand that on the left. Words are just words in the media. They're just words. It's gamesmanship. It's showmanship. Like what? Is she going to come out and be like, "Dear King Trump, we will obey all your orders"? No, she's going to come out and be like, "You stole our president. You kidnapped them. We need proof of life. This is unconstitutional. This is against international law." She didn't use unconstitutional. They can say that publicly, but behind the scenes, you guys know they're picking up that phone. "Mr. President, please, not again. Please leave us alone." And all those people have rewards on their heads, bounties. The Secretary Minister of Defense, the Minister of Interior, and many others in the Maduro regime, they all had the same level of bounties. They had 25 million rewards for their arrest or information leading to their arrest. So here's what the Trump administration is demanding: that the country kick out Russia, China, Iran, and Cuba and sever economic ties. One of the interesting dynamics that Venezuelans finally had confirmed for them was the presence of Cubans in their country. Because for decades, the Venezuelan regime had been saying they were acting independently and there was no foreign influence to keep propelling the regime. But Marco Rubio revealed that we took out like 30 plus Cuban security guards who worked in Maduro's security apparatus. And you have to understand why. Cuba built an entire system to prevent the United States from taking over their regime. That's why we couldn't get Fidel Castro for so many years, and why we still can't get who they have now. They have like an anti-CIA operation going. Like, they have been able to just stop U.S. intervention in their country. And we've just kind of given up on Cuba. And we've focused our efforts on countries that are easier to get done, like Venezuela. So for us to go find and discover hundreds of Cuban security guards all over the Maduro regime protecting him, that confirmed to Venezuelans that their country was never sovereign. Now, the Trump administration is also demanding that Venezuela must agree to partner exclusively with the U.S. on oil production and favor America when selling heavy crude oil. This is bad for Canada. So Canadian crude is of a heavier grade. Not all oil is made equal. You have lighter grades of oil, which are like sweeter, I guess. And then you have really heavy, thick grades of oil, which are harder to refine. Because the way oil is refined is, you have this long thing, this long tube, and it's like heated up, and the lighter stuff gets up there. So petroleum, gasoline, and then you come all the way down to lubricants, to, asphalt. Like, that's the process. So I imagine Venezuela's oil produces less of the things that are really valuable, like gasoline, like petroleum, like kerosene, or any other thing. It might produce significantly more heavy oil, which is used to power cargo ships. It's cheap. It might produce more of that than the other stuff. It might produce more asphalt than the lighter stuff, which is more profitable. So that might be the case. So Canadian oil is lighter, is heavier. And so with Venezuela and sanctions being placed on them for a decade now, we have been buying a lot of oil from Canada. So we have been their number one customer. We buy more Canadian oil. We trade more Canadian oil than other Canadian provinces. We refine a lot of their oil and then, sell some of the finished products back to them. Well, now with Venezuela opening up, their oil is heavier, of a similar grade to the Canadians' oil, and a lot of our refineries on the Gulf of America in Louisiana and Texas are meant specifically for that heavier grade. So we are now going to have millions of barrels, perhaps daily. We're going to be Venezuela's top customer. So our refineries are going to be eating. It's like they've been hungry, just looking for oil. Because they can't handle the lighter grade. It's just not economically viable for the way those refineries were built. It's to the point where we sell the lighter crude to other countries, like to Nigeria's refinery, because we don't have enough capacity to refine that lower grade of stuff, or that lighter grade, which is better. That's why Trump says our oil is better than anyone else's oil. We have the good oil, liquid gold, right? That's Saudi Arabia also has that lighter grade. So with Venezuela coming in with a heavier grade, we might be able to get more jet fuel, diesel maybe. And those are things that are good for industry. So it's going to crash the price of gas, but not just gas, diesel for transportation. And if transport costs are halved, then you get a great economy with consumers getting better prices. So Trump is playing the long game here. So that's why those demands have been made. Additionally, Trump and oil executives are meeting on Friday at the White House to talk about Venezuela. So Chevron, ConocoPhillips, and ExxonMobil. So just a little bit of a slight history. So before 1976, U.S. oil companies essentially owned the Venezuelan oil industry. They built it. Standard Oil, which now is ExxonMobil, Gulf Oil, Mobil, and Sinclair, Amoco, and then the nationalization happened, and other U.S. companies got involved after, they kind of started to roll back a little bit. In the 90s, they opened up to foreign investment, which was smart from Hugo Chavez, the socialist, because he realized he needed American companies to drill because the government was incompetent. It was Maduro who went a step further and just said, everybody leave. But Chevron still has a little bit of a blueprint in Venezuela. So they came back and are still there in some capacity now. Conoco, Phillips, ExxonMobil. So you had American companies all over Venezuela, and then in 2007, Chavez and the government forced majority state control on all the oil projects, leading to expropriation of assets from companies that resisted. ExxonMobil and Conoco exited and pursued international arbitration for billions in compensation. Okay, guys, my mouse just died. That's embarrassing. I have never had that happen during a live show, but we'll give it like 5 minutes, so that means I need to stay on the screen. That's fine. We can talk at length about anything, right? We can talk about oil. We can talk about wars across the world. Heck, we might even start talking about the Iranian Revolution. You know, I thought Israel would need to have their agents on the ground blowing up Iran, but who knew? Their own people are blowing it up. They're taking over cities. So Exxon and Conoco exited, and they went into international courts, got billions of dollars, but Venezuela to this day owes those companies a lot of money. So with President Trump now meeting those executives, there were stories even before the strikes that he inquired, got all the industry leaders on a call and said, are you guys interested in Venezuelan oil? Some sources say they said no, because the oil industry is not in a boom right now. Prices are going down because of Trump. And those oil execs don't like that, which is a misconception. Democrats think oil companies love Trump. They don't. They hate him because he comes into office and he boosts production and their profits get shattered. The only way they save money when Trump's in power is with regulatory costs. They don't have to spend as much money getting permits, getting leasing agreements done, environmental bullcrap. They don't have to spend as much money on that. But man, like, they do not profit at all when he's in office. So him wanting to open up Venezuela's industry again was probably not something they wanted to hear, because they're already like struggling having to produce and, you know, sell for half the price. But they're big boys. They're still going to be profitable. They'll make the money back. They can make money through value addition. If they're just producing oil and not adding value to it, that's the problem. So they need to invest in more refineries if they have to. And they need to find a way to stimulate the lower end of the supply chain. So from drilling the oil to creating diesel and jet fuel, they need to get more demand going. So they need to try as much as they can to lobby the government to keep great economic policies in place so people spend more and demand for oil increases everlastingly. That's what they need to do. So I can imagine that story was true, that the oil giants were like, no, but Marco Rubio and others are like, Mr. President, you have to. It's just what you have to do. And Trump did it. And now he's bringing them back to the table and saying, are you guys ready to go back into Venezuela? And I think they're going to be ready now because they have no choice. Like what? Are they going to let British Petroleum come in and win? No, American companies have to benefit the most because they, through their president, did the most for Venezuela. We just liberated them from a communist dictatorship. We deserve to own them at this point. Not like slavery, but like indentured servitude. We can pay them a little bit, but not a lot. Hold on. Yeah, I gotta switch the screens there because it's starting to look weird. Actually, no, I have a video to play. All right, we're producing the show from this angle. Marco Rubio got a lot of praise by a local CBS station. I want to play that up so you guys can hear it.
And only in America, the many lives and many jobs of Marco Rubio, the son of Cuban immigrants and a former Florida senator. He's now the face of U.S. foreign policy and President Trump's point man on Venezuela, all in addition to his roles as Secretary of State, interim national security advisor, and acting national archivist and USAID chief. Whatever you think of his politics, you got to admit it's an impressive resume. And now AI memes have added to that portfolio, casting Secretary Rubio as the new governor of Minnesota, the new Shah of Iran, the Prime Minister of Greenland, the new manager of Manchester United, the head of Hilton Hotels, and highest of high honors of all, the new Michelin Man. Now, back in real life, of course, these memes may not add up to much, but for Rubio's hometown fans, which are many around here in Miami, it is a sign of how Florida, once an American punchline, has become a leader on the world stage. Marco Rubio, we salute you. You're the ultimate Florida man.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Ah, man. Yeah, my shoulder hurts. So Rubio can be blamed for getting Trump into Venezuela because he does have it's like every Cuban in Miami wanted Maduro gone, and every Venezuelan in Miami wanted Maduro gone. And he's gone now. So I think Rubio will focus on Cuba next. But President Trump got exactly what he wanted, which is U.S. intervention in Venezuela to lead to oil. So we get 50 million barrels, plus we get access to their industry, and we get to kick Russia, China, Iran, and all the other adversaries of the United States out of that country. So that's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. It's bizarre that we could have been sitting here at this very moment talking about, lives lost on the U.S. end, but we are not. There was one more thing I wanted to show you. What was that? I need to check it first. Oh no, it is what it is. It's what we're already talking about. Gosh, it sucks to have this mouse die in the middle of the show. But what is it about Venezuela that is so important for the United States? Like I've said millions of times, it's the Monroe Doctrine, which someone was like, George, it's the Monroe Doctrine. Okay, that's the joke. You can't just let that joke fly over you, man. You're not United Airlines. It's the Monroe Doctrine now, because Trump has added something to it. He's taking it to that next level. We're now taking territories. We're going to take Greenland. Marco Rubio has supposedly informed members of Congress that the president intends to buy Greenland, which we can, by the way. There's 56,000 people living in Greenland. If we offered each of them $1 million, that's $56 billion. Easy money. You close a few Somali daycares, we'll afford it overnight. So the president is practicing the Monroe Doctrine, authored by John Quincy Adams, preventing foreign powers from having influence in the Western Hemisphere because it pertains to America's national security and economic interest. National security is one thing, but economic security and national security are intertwined, because if you don't have your ships and the ability to protect your commercial vessels, your economy is going to be screwed. That's why people are like, why are we focused on the Indo-Pacific? Why do we care about Japan? Why do we have bases in Japan or South Korea? Well, it's because we want to keep China away from having a monopoly on the Black China Sea, or South China Sea, not black, on the South China Sea. Because if they do, they're going to start placing tolls on all the ships that pass by there. And that's going to be a lot of American vessels having to spend billions of dollars every month paying garbage to China, which is money they're going to use to buy American treasuries. And we pay them interest plus the principal after 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, whatever they buy that at. That's what Trump is trying to do. That's why it's important to have a strong military, because you can't have a good economy without a strong military. You can't protect what is yours if you can be invaded at any time and someone stronger can take it from you. Look at Venezuela. Venezuela had this false sense of security that they could just exist and do whatever they wanted and be in bed with all of our ops. And then Trump came in, drive-by regime change, just drive-by regime change, and just pow, pow, everybody, Cuban agents taken out, took Maduro out of his sleep, got him on a nice, beautiful cruise ship for an all-out paid vacation to New York with his wife, a couple's vacation paid for by the United States. You're welcome, Nicolas Maduro. You're welcome, mi amigo. Tu muy welcome. Tu muy welcome. You're very welcome. So all of these things matter, and we just saw that on display. So I'm just really happy we have a president that is able to execute these missions to perfection. Let me see if I can get this mouse. I think I have yapped enough, so we can read some read some chat comments, and we'll be out of here, out of this live stream. Build the boat, someone says. Okay. It's a repeat of the Bay of Pigs, but it's just on a larger scale. Just found your channel and I like it. You thought I was AI at first. Guys, we're AI. Oh man, thought I was real. Dang it. They found me, man. I don't blame you. Everyone's AI now. You know? I almost fell for one of those channels, like a Victor Davis Hansen channel. Almost fell for it. There was a channel with Kash Patel. They're doing one with like the declassified files or something law enforcement sounding. And it was like Kash Patel. And I was like, dude, don't you have Democrats to arrest? Don't you have like real things that happen that you need to take care of? Why are you on YouTube doing thumbnails like I do? Why are you doing live streams, Cash? Then I realized, oh my gosh, it was AI. I fell for it. Again, it was not the first time those other AI have fallen for. But it was ridiculous. It was like, what are you guys doing? You know? So, yeah, no, I totally understand why you think I'm AI, but I'm way too bombastic to be AI. AI would be like sitting here all professional. You know, there was AI Elon Musk. And a lot look, a lot of you guys are boomers. You guys are, hey, it's not been a good 2 years for boomers with AI, because you guys are starting to be the target victimized demographic. You guys believe every AI that comes out. At least Gen Z, we might be gay. We might be a little bit stupid. We don't have jobs. We're all broke. We all smoke weed. Not all, but you know what I mean. At least Gen Z won't believe in AI. But boomers, you guys are like a little bit, you're down a few points. It's the fourth quarter. You need 2 touchdowns. And you got to lock in, and like you guys are out here believing AI channels. So I need you guys to just lock in. Like, come on. Wear your big boy pants and perceive better. Because there's no way that AI Elon channel had more subscribers than like, I don't know, Tesla's YouTube channel. That AI Elon channel had 400,000 subscribers. It was getting millions of views. But I'm just saying, man, the boomers need to lock in. I just know Trump is seeing AI videos. And he's just invading countries based off of an AI video. Boomers, I love you guys. You guys contributed a lot. You gave us phone calls. No, you didn't give us phone calls. You just use phone calls. Every boomer loves speaking on the phone. I've noticed that. But you guys need to lock in. It's really important for you. Because the millennials, like, they have millennials and Gen X, they don't have anything on you guys. You guys could be like the good generation, you know? But, you know, believing in AI is just crazy to me. His top lip is too dark to be AI. Exactly. Like, I have my lips. Like, I have a lips, my bottom lip is in the KKK, like, white power. And then the top one's like, black power in the Black Panthers. Like, they can't, I can't be AI. AI is not that specific. But I guess a lot of people don't know that. This is a black people thing. We all just have like, I don't know. I don't know how it worked, you know? It's like you just have two colors. They're competing against each other. It's like they're fighting a civil war. We're back in the Lincoln days. He just suspended habeas corpus. We're going to war, boys. That's what my lips are doing. But don't worry, I'm not AI. I'm a real person. I'm a real person. I love imperialism. I love, like, if I was AI, would I be able to do this? Exactly. I would not be able to do that. Because AI can't slap itself and feel pain. AI's it's artificial intelligence, it's robotics, it's machine learning. You know, it's data. My food is like chicken and watermelon and Kool-Aid on the side. Like, that's my food. AI's food is like libraries, books from 200 years ago. AI's food is like the selfie you took. You know, Google's like training their AI on your selfies. Not sure why, but I guess it wants to get better image generation. And then they tell you, we don't do that. Of course you do. Of course you do. How else? Like, if you weren't training your AI on people's faces, how come you can make a perfect video of Donald Trump doing something that Donald Trump would never do? I saw a video recently of Trump twerking, and he was twerking. He was doing the Shaniqua thing. He was twerking. You know, he had his baby daddy, like pure Shaniqua. He had the nails did, the eyelashes that no man asked for, and he was twerking on my TikTok feed. I saw that with my own eyes, and I definitely saw it because my eyes can see. They're big. I saw it. I saw Trump twerking. What's that about? AI needs to be stopped. We have a national security crisis. Like, Trump is trying to take over the world and take Greenland, take Venezuela, take their oil. And he needs to be taken seriously. We have AI models having him twerk, having him go to the dollar store and pull out the EBT card. We need to stop this. Stop this ghettoification of the president using AI. It needs to stop. I'm tired of it. We need to sign like some we need legislation because I agree with Gavin Newsom. When Gavin Newsom said we can't be having AI generate this kind of imagery, I was like, you know what, Gavin, you might be buying up all the hair gel and nothing is left in the store for the rest of us. But you were right about that one point. You still destroyed California though, but we need regulations on AI, man. It's getting out of hand. Oh my gosh, we have 1619 concurrent viewers. We do not believe in that's wild. YouTube's trying to call me a slave or something. Like what's that? Why do I see 1619 viewers? But ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. God, I pray that everyone has a good night and good sleep. In Jesus' name, amen. It's good to see that the president got exactly what he was looking for. Thank you all very much for watching, and good night.